I think from here on, almost no matter what happens, he has lost a certain number of people who previously supported him. And everything he does or seeks to do now will be tainted by this. So how they're going to get themselves out of it, we shall see, or try to, because at the moment, every time Trump posts something to try to mitigate the disaster for him, he makes it worse.
Yeah, he does, yeah.
But I think, I've been, like I say, calling him out since 2016. It was obvious from the start, a con man and a front man, ironically, for the deep state.
Hello, it's been 6 months, or just shy of 6 months, since Donald Trump became the President of the United States for the second time. I'm joined by my dad, and we're going to basically have a look at that 6 months. 6 months of trusting plans and 5D chess and all the rest of it, and we're going to break it down, aren't we, Dad? This should be interesting, because I know you're a big fan. Should we start with the real current conversation now, which of course is the Epstein client list? We've gone from, we're going to release all the files, they're on Pam Bondi's desk, to they don't exist, to they do exist, but it's a hoax created by Obama. Explain that to me like I'm five, how those two things can be true at the same time. Yeah, all the influencers, the MAGA influencers that of course made a great career out of backing Trump, are now suddenly don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, well, in terms of the influencers, it seems to break down into three camps. You've got those that campaigned for him and were propagandists for him and promoted him, who are now saying, "Who, me? No, I never said vote for Trump." But of course, you keep the receipts. You've got others who, and Alex Jones is in this category, where they really don't know what to do, because what's happened over the suppression of the Epstein files, the Epstein evidence, is so the opposite of what Trump was supposed to stand for, but never did, that it's like, what do I do? So on one hand, they've got to kind of keep their audience on board by going a bit, release the files. And on the other hand, they're going, well, yeah, but I still agree with 95% of what he says. And then you've got others who are basically calling bullshit.
Yeah.
And I've got respect for them. I didn't agree with their support of Trump, obviously. I've been calling him out since he came on the scene in 2016 for what he is. But at least they're going, sorry, not having this anymore. So they're kind of three camps. And what he has done overall is he's holed below the waterline, I think. I remember when he came on the scene, and I think he had the best part of 20 people in the Republican Party going for the Republican nomination for president to overcome. And I watched him, and I watched them fall away and fall away and fall away. I heard that the Republican establishment, the Republican Party establishment, didn't want him, couldn't stand him. And then you had the release of the documents and emails and so on by WikiLeaks that showed that the Democratic Party, that's a misnomer, but the Democratic Party were manipulating events so that Hillary Clinton would be the nomination and not Bernie Sanders.
Yeah.
And you thought, well, if they can do it and they hate him that much, well, why can't the Republican Party do it? But they didn't. And when he got the nomination, I thought, this guy's going to be president. It was just too much. And he became president, and now for the second time. So if you then look at the Epstein background, Trump, according to Epstein himself, Trump was Epstein's closest friend for 10 years, more than that actually, but they admit to 10 years. And Epstein's running a blackmail operation on behalf of Israel and Mossad. It was a classic network. They do it all the time.
Yeah.
So that period would have compromised Trump if they wanted to compromise him. Then suddenly, out of nowhere, this compromised guy runs for president and he wins. And not only does he win, he starts giving Israel everything it wanted. He's funded by the Adelsons to the tune of, in the first two elections, $200 million by Sheldon Adelson, the casino magnate. And in this last one, $100 million by his wife, Miriam Adelson. He's supported financially by an enormous number of influential pro-Israel Zionists. And in the first term, the agreement was that he would get the money if he agreed to move the American embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem, and if he recognized the Golan Heights as Israel land when it was Syrian, and he did both.
Yeah.
And there were some influencers, by the way, that are now attacking Israel, who were in Israel at the time, who were saying, we're here to support Israel. And why aren't the Democrats here to support Israel? This is when the embassy was moved. And then he comes in this time, and he's pro-Israel on bloody steroids. And he is giving them what they want. He's bombed Iran. He's taken all limits off arming Israel. One of the first things he did when he came into office the second time was to remove sanctions against the settlers who were stealing what's left of West Bank land from Palestinians. Well in favor of what's happening in Gaza, starts talking about wanting to get the Palestinians out of Gaza, so it becomes this rich and famous kind of seaside resort, which will be, of course, run by Israel. So everywhere you look, Israel's getting what it wants. He calls Netanyahu recently the greatest man in the world.
I mean, that is something of a statement.
Which is just beyond belief. And this comes after he's been compromised by Epstein. And if people want the Epstein files, they should give Netanyahu a call and ask him if he'll let them see them, because he'll have them, and the Mossad will have them. They'll all have.
Ask Netanyahu, people. He has the files. He has the file. Every time Trump said, I'm not going to send this, Netanyahu, stop pressuring me. Man, just send him a clip. Here's a clip of you. Remember this clip? So David is so right, people. Just link Netanyahu. You want the files? Who want the files? Maga, you want the files? Just contact your BB buddy. Contact BB buddy. He has all the files, all the Epstein files, people. And that letter, that infamous letter, this man is such a creep, people, a weirdo. And this is the man you said he's the president and United States president and show respect, and that's your president? A man is protecting child abusers. That's your president?
Let me tell you about the hidden cameras and the hidden microphones to compromise people. And as the old saying goes, when you've got them by the short and curlies, their hearts and mind will follow. When you got them by the balls, their hearts and minds will follow. And whatever Trump wants, he'll do what they say. Otherwise, you're in trouble. And that's how it works. And it's so blatantly obvious when you look at his connections to Epstein, and now he does whatever Israel wants. I mean, put the two together. It's not difficult.
No, I think the Bernie Sanders thing's interesting as well, because obviously you mentioned the fact that they manipulated it to allow Hillary to win, which of course they did. And most people would look at that and say, well, that's because the Democrats wanted Hillary. She was the choice. And you think, well, if you wanted to have a Democratic president, Hillary was not the choice. Massively unpopular even among Democrats. So I look at it and I think, well, actually, with my tinfoil hat on, could that manipulation against Bernie Sanders have actually been about getting Trump in? Because actually Bernie Sanders probably would have beaten Trump, because Bernie Sanders had Democratic supporters, but he also had conservative supporters. That might be tinfoil hat, but it wouldn't surprise me if that was part of it as well.
Well, anything's possible because it's a one-party state. Therefore, ultimately, the Democrats and the Republicans are controlled by the same force in the shadows. So they work through both. So it's not impossible. I'll tell you one thing, too, that I think is has a very good chance of being true. And this will seem far out to a lot of people. And that is the way that Trump lost the second election. He won the first, then he lost the second. Now, if he'd have won the second, he'd be out now, be gone.
Yeah.
Would have been gone in January of this year. But he's come back in. And this is very significant because he's come back in with this group of Silicon Valley oligarch billionaires all around him. His AI czar and crypto czar is David Sachs, who's connected to Musk and Peter Thiel and all these people. And we're in the period, and this is a very important part of what's going on now, is we're in the period of the run-up to the takeover by AI of the entire system, and the run-up to the fusion of humans and artificial intelligence, so that artificial intelligence becomes the human mind, becomes human perception. And if you remember, the ones pushing back on that were basically what you'd call the right and basically Trump supporters. I mean, loads that weren't, but weren't Democrat either. But that grouping, which became known as MAGA, and all the kind of influencers and people on the internet, etc., they were pushing back on that. And they had to be targeted to bring them on board, because basically the left were going with it, this AI stuff. They were susceptible to the hard sell of we'll be gods and it will be fantastic and it will do all this and do this and the other. But this MAGA crowd and those further out that weren't actually Trump supporters, but they were pushing back on it. They didn't want it. They were skeptical of it. So what they've done is they've brought in Trump to tell that group of people what they want to hear. So they've looked at all the things that they want or are concerned about, immigration and so on. And they're skeptical of climate change and
no foreign wars and all that stuff. Yeah,
foreign wars, all that stuff. So they've brought him in and he's told them what they want to hear.
Yeah.
But surrounding him, actually controlling him, I would say, are the AI oligarchs who connect out to Israel too. And so we we've had this situation where 2 days into the Trump administration, he wheels out into the Oval Office Larry Ellison of Oracle, Sam Altman of OpenAI, to announce this up to 500 billion AI expansion and data center expansion for AI. And you have been seeing excuses made or justifications made for introducing AI in all these areas that the MAGA base are concerned about. So you say, well, if we want to stop immigration, illegal immigration, well, AI can do it.
Yeah.
And an ID, a digital ID can do it, and all these things. And you've got Trump, who had to appeal to his base on the subject of the central bank digital currencies, the digital currencies that are programmable and are able to be tracked and programmed to the point where they can dictate what you can use them to buy. In other words, they're dictating your choices of what you want to buy. Yeah. And they can also be programmed to only be a currency in a particular area. There's your 15-minute city background to that. But he couldn't come out and say, we're having the central bank digital currency, because his base would have gone crazy.
Yeah.
So they're having stable coins, digital stable coins, which are programmable and in the same way.
Yeah.
And
rebadged it.
Yeah. So basically, I'm going to not have a digital currency called what you are campaigning against. I'm going to have a digital currency, but I'm going to call it something else. And so you're looking at this period now, which is up to like 2029, 2030, when they really want to push this AI control agenda, digital currency agenda, all of it. And you've got a guy in power who's been telling his base what they want to hear to bring them on behind him. We're winning, while this agenda, this AI control agenda has moved on and moved on. And when you look at Elon Musk, for instance, he has been pushing, even though he says he's a skeptic, he ain't. He's been pushing this AI agenda more and more now. And he was suddenly brought in with Trump and helped Trump get over the line. And then was appointed to head this Doge organization, which started firing like tens of thousands of government employees. And then you start to see them moving, they're replacing them with artificial. But while Trump is telling them what they want to hear, they're not seeing this agenda that's being driven behind it. So if you go back to Elon Musk, there were people in the MAGA, I'll call them, that were identifying him as a transhumanist, who was someone who was pushing this AI control agenda and this AI human fusion agenda, because he was, and he is.
He was the brain chip guy.
Yeah, he's the brain chip guy, Neuralink. But then he bought Twitter. And suddenly it all changed. Now he's one of us. And all the pushback from the central core, anyway, of the MAGA media against his agenda and the Musk agenda for AI disappeared, stopped. Not with all of us, but with a lot of people, it just stopped. And the whole thing has come together. It's like, look over there, look, we're winning, while the real agenda is pushed along in the background. And if you think about it, if there was a Democrat in power now in the White House in this period, from 2025 towards the end of the decade, and they were pushing this AI agenda, the MAGA would be going apeshit. They'd be saying, look, it's the AI agenda, it's the digital currency agenda under another name. Look what they're doing. But because it's been Trump, it's we're winning and everything's okay. But what's thrown the thing out of kilter is the Epstein files, because there are people now in this MAGA arena who are starting to reevaluate their entire support for Trump, because if he'll basically lie about that to them, what else is he lying about?
Absolutely.
And also, I think two things. One, the Epstein files have been a catalyst. They've been a line too far that many of his previous supporters won't cross. But also, I think it's dawning on them more and more how much Israel is running America. You know, I've been saying this now since the mid-1990s. I've been banned from so many events and countries and what have you because of it. And I've been called an anti-Semite. Funnily enough, I've been called an anti-Semite by some of the people who are now attacking Israel and saying...
And being called anti-Semites themselves.
It's unbelievable. But, you know, I remember the British, the left of the British Labour Party were trying to cancel my events. Owen Jones, the Guardian guy, was saying, oh, he's an anti-Semite. And now they're attacking Israel because of what's happening in Gaza.
He gets called anti-Semite regularly, Owen Jones.
Well, there you go.
It's laughable, really.
So it's kind of ironic, really. But those two things, the Epstein files and the increasingly obvious to more and more people control of America and Britain and Europe out of Israel is really getting people to reevaluate. And I'm not sure, I don't know about you, but I'm not sure he can recover from this to a point that he was where he was before, because I think he is held below the waterline by this, especially Epstein, although more and more Israel. And it taints everything else.
Yeah.
In the sense that he tries to change the agenda and do the MAGA thing and make America great again and got the hat on, but it's not the same anymore. And they'll try. There'll be many things coming, I'm sure, to redirect attention. But he's tainted, and you know, I don't know about you, but I'm not sure that he'll necessarily make it to the end, given how early it is that this has happened. And that's how the few control the many, through unquestioning acquiescence and through fear of the consequences of not being unquestioningly acquiescent. That's it. And people say to me, well, what's the solution? You never bring solutions. What do you mean I don't bring solutions? The solution is staring you in the bloody face.
They don't want to hear that, though.
Enough of us say we're not cooperating with our own enslavement and the enslavement of our kids and grandkids. End of story. It's over.
People, this is so obvious. I don't think no one needs a real Davidite breakdown for this one. It's so obvious, people. This is so obvious that Trump is compromised. That country, you know that country you can't criticize. Yeah. You can see they have things on Trump, people. They have things on Trump. Trump is in the files. It's so obvious. People, I'm not going to even do a long reaction. I'll just keep it short and simple. He's on that file. He's tainted. He's compromised. We all know that long ago, people. As David I said, from 2016, he called out this con man, this fraud. This man is literally the swamp people. The swamp he promised to clean up, it's this man. It's his backyard, the swamp. The Mar-a-Lago is the swamp. Literally, people. So, yeah, we all was waiting on David's reaction, but it's so obvious, people. It's so obvious. And I know a lot of MAGA people, they won't make this connection. They refuse to make this connection. Because they don't want to believe that's their president. That's your president. Protecting a PDF guy. Ring, trafficking ring. That's your president. Candice Owens. Tucker. All of you Republicans. Alex Jones. That's your president. That's your president. So, what are you gonna? What next? What's next for you guys? What's next? Wow, we're gonna go to Democratic. Going to go what? Another conservative, another Republican, another. It's the same bull crap. Same bull crap. So thanks again, David. Love people. Love.